Hey, what's up? I'm back with another one with some more commentary that I wasn't asked for. Some more offered commentary that I wasn't asked for. But I want to say, actually, this one I might have been asked for because I'm responding to a question on a comment on a video. Is that so? I was saying that if you appreciate like there's a story of the tribe of Israel, the lost children of Israel, in the Bible, and they had been they went through, they were escaping captivity of the Egyptians, that people. And it's really, you think about how hard it is to like to get up off the, like to make a break for it, like to get up off of like a difficult situation as one person. Now try that as a people, as a group, as a family, as a community. How do you get away from oppression as a people? You could maybe say that you're not getting away from anything until you do it as a people. I listened to a gay rapper about like 10 years ago, and he said he had a line in there. I don't know what his name is anymore, but he said none of us are free until all of us are free, and that's a very deep line that he said right there. Maybe the deepest line I've heard in like hip hop or rap music. But you imagine, like, from that standpoint, like the children of Israel getting out of oppression as they first getting the courage to address oppression as a group, then making a motion to do it, and then really taking steps to do it, and then whereby getting to do it, you can appreciate what you think of as a higher power that can move like heaven, earth, and hell. Um, it would take about that much might plus the faith of people to transcend something as deep seated and entrenched as real oppression, systemic, historical, efficient, organized um, uh, oppression, and then some of the limitations of doubt coming from that, the brutality of that, and then the privilege of people implementing that, but also the advantage of people implementing that oppression. That's quite that's not child's play. But that's not even grown man's play. That's faith right there. And but encouraged. But they took a trip through the wilderness, and they were being supplied with like manna, which is like sustenance from heaven. It was beautiful, and it was sustenance, but it was still subsistence level and exactly what they needed. Because really, if you got a real trip on your hands, you got to be packing light if you're going far, and you don't need anything that you don't need in a real trip, because you're not sightseeing, and you're not treating yourself, you're not being treated, you're being saved, you're being emancipated. And from that standpoint, nothing is more valuable than freedom, and no cost can be spared to amount to freedom or sustain and realize freedom. Not even the cost of like leisure and like fun and stuff like that. So maybe I can take my own medicine when I'm talking in this video about some of us getting treated and not tricked. Yeah, so you can treat me and trick me if I get to be free. You can do that, and that's okay if I get to be free. So that should be our attitude, I think, maybe. And I'm talking to myself with that. But it took them a long time to get through the wilderness, 40 years at least, according to the Bible. That's deep, dark, and daunting if you think about that. And it was like I think it might have been like a 40-day trip. It was what it was logistically, but because of their doubt and their maybe their infighting, that's called internecine. And that's part of any group. You can't actually get away from internecine because it's part of what makes life viable, and that's part of change. They say nothing is constant except change. Nothing is constant except internecine, infighting, which is change. Um, but um, but it took them a long time, and sometimes if you do things the same way, I've said in other videos that maybe doing things the same way is how great stuff is accomplished, but with small alterations and like hunches. So like that'd be like tinkering, according to Nassim Nicholas Taleb. But you can imagine doing something the exact same way and not learning. So maybe doing something and not learning is what is insanity. And you may not get anywhere if you approach it the same way. So someone can ask you a question like why are you here? Why are you in a healing circle? Why are you in a rehabilitation circle, for lack of a better word? If you approach that in the terms it was presented to you, it wasn't an honest question, because it wasn't an honest question. It was actually an insult couched as a question. Couched means like concealed or presented or softened. And so from that standpoint, it's also it's adding on to whatever put you somewhere. It would be that disrespect and contempt, and even just confusion to take that on the surface. But you actually can't take value out of anything, because this existence is valuable. So even things that people intend as an insult or a weapon or a setback, it actually contains something of value, simply because they're not good enough to take the value entirely out of it. If you have enough of a congruence in And if you have congruence and a reason for the footing that you had that is equitable and humane, you might have some strength within your footing and position that they didn't intend or understand, where you can overcome and actually confiscate the insult or the implement or the device to your actual benefit, which would be part of like appreciating the eccentric features of a terrain, even the things that people say and do against us. But as so long as you take it exactly as it's presented, like why, sometimes the word why sounds like a little bit is like a little bit judgmental, like, so that you ask me why already means that you're doubting my competence in the tone of that, in the nuance and overtone of that. But if you were to just, but in mathematics, sometimes you could, so I think that a lot of us, we're not getting anywhere until we approach something from a mechanical standpoint, like the actual mechanics of something. So a lot of people want to help people, so they become like professionals, like doctors or like counselors and so forth, but they can as equally injure a person, at least a person's self-confidence, and therefore their self-concept and their interactions and their some of their high tier skills, personally, socially, hard skills and soft skills, can be affected by our self-concept, and that can be affected by the judgments and the opinions of people calling themselves professionals. But if they more so wanted to help someone, they could have just become mechanics, because as much cars as we see, I said what I said about cars, but as much cars, buses, trains, airplanes, rocket ships, spaceships, electric vehicles, hovercrafts, how far are you getting without a mechanic to have to say so about that? Right now, I got my life on ice for about the last month and a half or two because of a repair that needed to happen on a vehicle before I received it. And it's now getting around to being done, but I'm not going anywhere, at least with that vehicle, until a mechanic had to say about it or had something to do about it. So if you wanted to help people that much, you should have been a mechanic. A lot of people are in the wrong line of work, according to Osho. Maybe some doctors really were supposed to be mechanics if they want to help people. But help people get people, because we're not supposed to help, because that can be to hurt. It's to help, because our vanity gets in there, and our own ideas about our own prerogatives get overlaid on another person when we're over helping something. But if you were to approach something in terms of mechanics, you could actually help someone get somewhere, and we should be more so helping people get places than to help to the sake of help. Because how much am I helping you if I help you to stand still or stay stuck or go backwards? You could throw away the help and just make a fair handshake with me that'll help me that'll allow me to get somewhere. That'd be better. But a lot of things, they won't change until we approach it from a mechanical standpoint, and that might also be true even of things that are like social or personal or emotional. Is still the mechanics is very important. But and within mechanics you have a lot of mathematics, and mathematics can do a great deal. And even though I've said that mathematics might be a little bit arbitrary in how it's presented, it still is one of the most effective things in terms of like, because mechanics is informed by mathematics, but other understanding is also. But if you sometimes within mathematics you can change the terms or the expression, and that can affect the congruence in the meaning. So if someone says why something, so why are you here? You fixate on that why, and you can be stuck there answering them if you like. You can be stuck there with their ass, wondering with their ass why both of you are there. But if you just interchange the word why to where, as though like on an axis, where are we? So instead of why are you here, whereby are you here? Where how are you here? Wherefore are you here? Where may you be here? Where would you be here? Where are you here? Because you can maybe say that wherever we find ourselves, as I'm making this video, all that my ancestors have said, did, thought, felt, feared, sacrificed, collaborated, conspired, hidden, saved, including my own of the same, and more, has me right here. But so you can, in a sense, from where I'm making this video, if you were thinking on the deepest of terms, you could understand that all that I have been and am and may be, in the same of all the existences that are my former iterations, existences, past existences, that is ancestors, all that amount to, you can't completely isolate the meaning of that with my position here, my actual physical, geographical, earthbound position, spacebound position right here. How did the universe come to be? Where is the universe? When is the universe? How is the universe? I can't answer that directly, but I can say, as sure as I'm standing here, you cannot isolate any of that meaning from my position here, standing here. So that's changing terms from why to where.